If you see, the question here is draw the graph of the function y is equal to mod x minus 2 plus mod x minus 3. You see that this function is a sum of two mod functions. First is mod x minus 2 and the other is mod x minus 3. So what you do is you put x minus 2 is equal to 0. You will get x is equal to 2. And if you put x, whatever is within the mod, that is x minus 3 is equal to 0, you get x is equal to 3. So now on the number line, if you see, this is your point 1, 2, and 3, and so on. You have the negative numbers also. Okay. Now this is your minus infinity, and this is your plus infinity. Okay. So if you see x is equal to 2, you're getting your, how many breakpoints you are getting? You're getting a breakpoint at 2 here, right? And you're getting a breakpoint at 3 here. Okay. So what you do is the intervals in which you will be drawing your graph is from minus infinity till minus 2. This is your first interval. So you have minus infinity to 2. Okay. And then from 2, closed interval from 2 to 3. Okay. And then from 3, you will move till plus infinity. Okay. So these three are the intervals. Why have I considered these three intervals? Why are these two open? And why is this interval closed? That is because now if you see in the interval minus infinity to 2, what is the value of the function? Y is equal to mod x minus 2 plus mod x minus 3, right? Now if you see in this interval, x is a number that is always less than 2, right? X is any real number that is less than 2. That means x minus 2 will be what? If x is less than 2, then x minus 2 will be negative number. That means if you're taking the mod, you're going to get minus x minus 2, right? Suppose if you have x a number less than 2, let us consider a number less than 2, let's say 1.9. What do you get? 1.9 minus 2, isn't it? So what do you get here? Mod of minus 0.1, which is minus of minus 0.1, isn't it? So that is why you have minus of x minus 2 from the definition of modulus. And similarly, for mod x minus 3, if x is a number that is less than 2, then this will also be negative, minus x minus 3, right? So therefore, in this interval, what is the value of the function you are getting? 2 minus x, and you have minus x plus 3. So you're getting here 5 minus 2x. This is the value of the function in this interval, right? So what are the points here? Now, if you see the points here, coming to this, in the interval minus infinity to 2, I have taken the point minus 5. I have taken the points minus 5, minus 3, minus 1. All are less than 2, if you see, right? So I've taken whatever point that are less than 2, keeping in mind my convenience of plotting. Okay. So that is why I've taken minus 5, minus 3, minus 1, and 0. And I have seen that in this, for x is equal to minus 5, I'm getting y is equal to 15 if I put here. So for x is equal to minus 5, I'm getting y is equal to 5 minus 2 into minus 5, which I'm getting as 15. So what is one coordinate? One coordinate is just as in case of straight lines, you do minus 5, 15. Similarly, the other coordinate is minus 3, 11, and minus 1, 7, and 0, 5. So 4 points I have got. Okay. Now I'm done with this interval. Now let us come to this interval for 2, 3. Okay, let's plot the points also. If you plot the points along this before going to the next interval, let's see how to plot the points. The 4 coordinates that I have got here are minus 5, 15. When I'm considering minus infinity to 2, I'm going to have only this part of the graph available to me, right? Because the values of x are less than 2, right? Only this part of the graph. So that is why I have plotted minus 5, 15, and then the points minus 3, 11. So you have, let's say, minus 3, 11 somewhere over here, right? And similarly, 4 points I have plotted, and I have joined these 4 points with the help of a straight line. So this is the part that I am getting for only values that are less than 2. That is in the interval minus infinity 2. Okay. Now I'll consider the interval 2 to 3. What is the interval 2 to 3 on the graph? Only this part, right? Now for this part, what should be the value of the function when x lies between 2 and 3? So y is equal to mod x minus 2 in the interval 2, 3. Mod x minus 2 plus mod x minus 3. Now if x is taking values that are between 2 and 3, inclusive of 2 and 3, x minus 2 must be positive. So mod x minus 2 is the same as x minus 2 from the definition of mod. And mod x minus 3 must also be positive. Okay, mod x minus 3 must be negative in this case, because x is taking values that are between 2 and 3 only. So mod x minus 3 must be negative. So that is why minus of x minus 3. So you are getting this equal to 1. Okay, if you simplify. So in this case, if you see, I have taken values between 2 and 3 as 2.1, 2.5, 2.7, 2.9. And because y is equal to 1, whatever value of x that I take, I'll get y is equal to 1. Therefore, this is a straight line that is parallel to the x-axis. So in this interval, I'm getting a straight line that is parallel to the x-axis. Okay. And now when I consider this interval, minus 3 infinity, y is equal to mod x minus 2 plus mod x minus 3. If x is a number that lies between, this is not minus 3 infinity, this should be plus 3 infinity. Plus 3 infinity. So if x is a number that lies between plus 3 and infinity, that is x is greater than 3, then x minus 2 has to be positive. So mod x minus 2 will be x minus 2, and mod x minus 3 will also be positive. Okay. So this simplifies to be 2x minus 5. So now you can draw a straight line y is equal to 2x minus 5 easily. Right? You take value x is equal to 4, convenient values to plot, 7, 9, 11, and you're getting 3, 9, 13, and 17. And you plot these, and in the interval 3 infinity, which part of the graph I'm plotting? Only this part. Right? So I start from here plotting 3 points I plot, or 4 points, whatever I've got, and I join them with the help of a straight line. Okay. So what you see is that the graph of y is equal to mod x minus 2 plus mod x minus 3 is in the shape of a U, right? So this is the way. Now, if I give you, suppose this is my question to you now. Suppose if I give you y is equal to, if I want to draw the graph of y is equal to mod x minus 5, how am I going to draw this graph? What are the intervals that I'm going to take? Yes, tell me. What are the intervals should I take? Tell me what intervals? Put x minus 5 is equal to 0, right? So you get x is equal to 5. So the interval that I'm going to take here are minus infinity to 5, and I'm going to take 5 to infinity, right? These are the interval that I'm going to take. And for in the interval minus infinity 5, What is the value of my function? X is a value that is less than 5. That means x minus 5 must be negative. So I'm getting 5 minus x. So now you draw the graph of the line y is equal to 5 minus x, which is very easy. You can draw. And in what interval am I getting here? In what interval will I get the graph here? Minus infinity to 5 means only in this interval. Only for this part I can draw the graph. Right? And the second one, what should be the value of the function? In the interval 5 infinity. What should be the value of the function? Why can x is taking value that are either equal to 5 or greater than 5? This is always x minus 5 will be positive. So mod x minus 5 will be equal to simply x minus 5. So that is, you simply want to draw the graph of y is equal to x minus 5. So and for which part are you drawing the graph? Only for this part. Okay. So we now move on to the next graph. The next graph that I have drawn here is for the greatest integer function. Y is equal to the greatest integer function. And in what interval? Only for interval, open interval minus 2, 4. Okay. Now see, I have divided minus 2, 4 interval into other intervals. What are the intervals? Between minus 2 and minus 1 I can take. I can take between minus 1 and 0. I can take between 0 inclusive and 1 semi-open interval. I can take between 1 inclusive and 2. I can take between 2 inclusive and 3. And finally, I can take between 3 inclusive and 4 not inclusive. Right? These are the intervals. Now, if you see in the interval minus 2 minus 1, y is equal to greatest integer function of x. Any value of x that you take in this interval, any value, what will the value be? Minus 2 minus 1. It will always be equal to minus 2. Suppose if I take y is equal to any value you say between minus 2 and minus 1 and minus 2, let's say minus 1.9, right? It will be equal to minus 2, right? Suppose I take y is equal to minus 1.1, it will still be equal to minus 2, right? So that is why if you see, for any value that you take in this interval, the value of y will be equal to minus 2. Similarly, for any value that you take in this interval, y will be equal to minus 1. So I have got, if you see, I have got 6 points here, right? But I have taken for x, the value I have taken in intervals. Why? Because any value of x between minus 2 and minus 1 is going to give you minus 2. So if I'm going to draw the graph here for minus 2, minus 1, so if you see any value that I take between minus 2 and minus 1, what is the value of y I'm getting? Equal to 2. So any value that I take here in this interval, I'm going to take y is equal to minus 2. So therefore, all these points I have taken and I have joined them. And I have given an open circle here. Why have I given an open circle here? Because y is equal to, because when I'm taking the interval minus 2 minus 1, this I have kept open. That is why I have given an unshaded circle here. Okay. And in the next interval, if you see, what is the next interval? Minus 1, 0. Minus 1, 0 is inclusive of minus 1, right? Semi-open. So that is why this circle here is a dotted one and this circle here is an open one. Okay. And I have drawn the graph for all these intervals. Now, if you see all this graph, you're getting straight lines in these intervals, right? In all these intervals. such functions like greatest integer function, and there are other functions also in which you get such a graph, are called step functions. This is a step function. Looks like a step. Okay, one of them is y is equal to greatest integer function of x. Okay, there are other step functions also. Least integer function is also there. Okay. Next, important graph, y is equal to log to the base log x to the base 2. Okay. Now this is a graph that is not very difficult to draw. From the definition of log, you get x is equal to 2 to the power of y. And then you can choose your y's and x's accordingly. Now y here is a dependent one, so therefore I have to choose y first. If I choose y is equal to 0, I get x is equal to 2 to the power of 1. 2 to the power of 0, which is 1. And if I choose y is equal to 1, I get y is equal to 2 to the power of 1, which is equal to 2, and so on, right? So the point that I'm getting here are 1, 0, 2, 1, 4, 2, and so on. And I plot these points, and I get, now when after plotting the points, this is obviously not going to be a straight line. Therefore, we join this with the help of a freehand curve. Okay, continuous freehand curve. We join this. Just like as in ogives we were doing, a continuous freehand curve. So here also we join with the help of a continuous freehand curve. Okay. Similarly, you can draw the graph of a natural log also. Now this function here is also an important function. Y is equal to 1 by x. And they have given you x belongs to -4 and +4, the closed interval. That means x can only take values between -4 and +4. Right? That means your graph will be limited to -4 and +4 here. Okay. So if you see, I have taken the various points and I have plotted these points here. And each of these points I have joined with the help of a continuous line. Okay. This is the graph of y is equal to 1 by x. Now, very important something that you note here is for x is equal to 0, will we get a point corresponding to x is equal to 0? For x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1 by 0, which is undefined, right? Or infinity. That means we are not getting, if you see for x is equal to 0, we are not getting a point, right? Is there any point that you are getting on the graph for x is equal to 0? This branch moves closer, very closer to the x-axis, but will not touch the y-axis. Similarly, this branch will move very close to the x-axis, but will not touch the x-axis. So for x is equal to 0, we are not getting any corresponding y. So therefore, we say x is equal to 0 is a point of discontinuity of the graph. Y is equal to 1 by x. Okay. Very interestingly, this graph is a special graph. It is actually called a rectangular hyperbola. Okay, this graph is called a rectangular hyperbola. Okay, fine. So this is all about graphs. Now we come to the concept of limits. Okay.